Hi, Stephen here from Son of a Nation Wave, and this is day 8 of the July daily draws. So let's see what message we get today, and I'll be taking the first card from the Unfolding Path Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Enchanted Map Oracle. So let's use our first card and get the reading underway. So we have the Five of Wands. To me, this is... I love the fact that you've got all these hands here holding individual wands here, and they're sort of crossing each other, but they make a pentacle shape together. And that immediately gives me an interpretation for this card today, counter to what my usual first impression of this card usually is. The first impression you get is the conflict card. It's the vying for attention. It's the vying for dominance. It's the competition, the competitiveness card. It's the it can be the inner conflict card, where you've got all different sort of goals and ambitions vying together for attention, and which do you go for? Which is going to come out on top? Which can you focus on? It's this sense of it can, be only one, to quote a famous series of movies. Those who know will know. And that, so it can be about, you can be internally divided in about what your goal is. You may have you may have more than one goal, and because you have more than one goal vying for your attention, it's almost like none of them gets achieved, because you're torn between these goals, and thereby none of them actually wins out unless one does rise to the top and you focus on that. So there is that element that we need to make sure that we haven't got too many goals vying for attention that divide our energy to the degree that nothing gets done, because we're trying to do more than one thing at once, and we're not doing a very good job at it. That's one interpretation of it. The other is the competitiveness, where people's viewpoints, they've got their own goals and ambitions, and you've got your own goals and ambitions, and you're in a situation, and each one is competitiveness, competing for yours to be seen and heard. So it can be that as well. That tends to be the traditional sort of meaning, and also the meaning that it's not real. When you see the traditional Rider-Waite card, it's usually young boys with sticks practicing, rehearsing. They're almost play fighting to try and develop their skills. And so this is not where there's any conflict, where harm is meant. It's just where it's sometimes through conflict and friction and playfulness in competing, done in the right way, can be beneficial, because it's just a way of honing our skills and developing them. So you've got that aspect to it. But the thing that sticks out to me, because of the shape that these ones are forming, individually, they're single individual goals, ambitions that seem to be competing for attention. One wants to come out on top, perhaps one, everyone values their want as being the want. But to me, it's when they come together, they make a whole, a greater whole, a shape here. The pentacle often represents the wholeness of every element together, So instead of viewing it as my goal, his goal, we can blend our goals together in such a way that the goals combined together achieve an even bigger outcome when we pool our ambitions and our desires and ambitions and our will together. We join them together in a way that creates a greater thing that can only be done through the cooperation of others, through the interaction with others. As individuals, we can't produce this. Just one wand, whichever one it is, won't make this shape, or even two won't necessarily make this shape. But combined together, they all make this shape. So instead of the friction, sort of the conflict, this is like the other side of the coin. If that energy is brought together in such a way that it's mutually beneficial, then what we create is greater than the sum of all its parts, sum of all the individual ones. Build something greater than the sum of all of them. So the key here is to perhaps turning where that's something that's seemingly conflicting and at odds with each other, finding a way to bring it together in a way that unifies and builds something greater. And that may be the message that this card's conveying to us today. Seek to turn so-called competing elements and find a way to include them and mold them together in order to achieve a greater result. And that could be the message of the Five of Wands today. Okay, so let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. We have the One Ring Circus, which to me is that individuality card. And normally this card means we are sufficient in ourselves. We are our own One Ring Circus. We can achieve things by ourselves. But with this card, it's saying, but how much more could we achieve if we were to not just be a One Ring Circus? If we are sufficient to make achievements through being ourselves as individuals, working together, how much, instead of competing with each other as individuals, as working as a team could bring about much greater results. And I think that's what the message of the cards is today. Okay, so that's today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 9. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.